So let's talk about Wanda first, because we have to talk about Wanda just about every week on this show. I don't know how many more weeks we got going, but I think several weeks more, for sure. There you see her. She is as embattled as she's ever been after this 49-page petition to oust her was released this week. It really cited everything that we've all been covering over this long period of time. But just to summarize, it recommended that she be suspended first, and then there would be a trial on her ouster. Cited the incorrect financial reporting, all the office closures, the strains on auto dealers, which actually was pretty much underreported, but it was significant, the impact that had on dealerships, and just the lack of corrective action plan that she was supposed to submit and has not done so. Halbert now must find an attorney for her suspension hearing, and then the trial would be held, but a judge must be found, and that's proving to be interesting because we've already had one judge recuse himself, and of course the recommendation by the independent prosecutor is that if there is a trial, the jury should not be from Shelby County. So here's what it says, Otis. We'll start with you first.
Okay.
An overreaction, do you think, in this petition, or do you think she nailed it right on?
Oh, I don't think it's an overreaction. As you just said, this is all the stuff that we've known for quite a while. We've gone from long lines and the inconvenience of that 2 years ago, and now we have financial malfeasance, misfeasance, non-feasance, all the feasance you can come up with. I don't think it's an overreaction at all. And I haven't heard any serious defense from her at all either.
In fact, she kind of, in a statement, kind of embraced this petition when she made a post online saying it's about time she's finally going to get her opinions heard.
Right, and she keeps saying, I've been the one that has been talking about improper things, and nobody's been listening to that, but we don't ever know what that is. You raised the point about who the judge is going to be. I believe that there's going to have to be an out-of-town judge for that as well. If one judge has already recused himself, I can't see any other circuit court judge in this community who's going to take that case, and which is probably the way it should be. And whether she gets suspended first, we'll see about that. But this is a very serious case, and I do think that her job is in jeopardy as a result of this.
It's hard to overstate how rare this is in Tennessee. We just don't kick elected officials out of office, especially locally elected. We had the whole thing with the two Justins in the State House, the state senator from Memphis, Katrina Robinson.
Mm-hmm. But
that's
that was
one
a criminal
thing.
case.
But that's rare too, and that was a criminal case, federal criminal case. But a locally elected official, this is highly unusual, Mark.
Well, it's going on and going on and going on. I've been off the commission for 2 years, and one of my final acts was to try to oust Clerk Halbert. When that came to a final vote, I was one vote shy. The county commission, again, wanted to give as much latitude to her as possible, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And now her position is threatening the Shelby County budget. Her office, the court clerk's office, produces the second highest amount of revenue in the county. So literally it's impeding Mayor Harris from setting a budget. And again, the losers in this have been the taxpayers of Shelby County who have been sick waiting in line for hours on end. And now, even last week, Otis, people are showing up to get their tags and an office is just entirely closed with no one showing up. So this has got to end. This was brought to the state's attention over 2 years ago, and initially the state said, we have no dog in this hunt because it was a local issue.
Everyone's trying to show deference to the elected position, be it the county commission, be it the state, but eventually the facts just took over the situation.
Well, the losers, again, are the citizens of Shelby County, and this is a transactional job. This is literally, here's my $140 and here's a tag. Here's my money for a business license. Here's your license.
Well, yeah, but there's a back office.
Absolutely.
There's a back office, important back office to this. And the question is, when she came into office, did she leave that back office alone that was working so efficiently for the former clerk, or did she get rid of it and put her friends in there? And I guess that'll all come out in a trial. My question is about a trial is who's she going to bring in for her defense? I mean, it's hard to see other than herself. Now, in fairness, I've talked to Wanda on several occasions, and she has spent, of a 20-minute phone call, 19 of those minutes telling me what the problems are. And honestly, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I don't think she knows what the problems are.
Well, I don't either. But Wanda Halbert is the same person we elected many years ago to the school board, the same person we elected to the city council twice, and the same person we've elected county clerk.
Twice.
Yes, and her problems were evident when she was elected last time.
Yes.
So it's always been said that there's a big difference between the executive branch, running the executive branch, and being a member of the legislative branch. And if this is a perfect case in point, because if Wanda ever at any time had done something that was a little bit off kilter, she had a whole board of council members and school board commissioners to cover it up.
Right.
So I think the bottom line is it's another lesson in politics and government. Know who you're voting for.
Yeah.
And this is a real case in point.
And it's, to your point, it speaks to the downside of partisan politics here. I think Wanda Halbert got elected county clerk simply because she had a D next to her name.
And people know the name.
And they
Not to say no
had name
to-
recognition, but she came at the right time. It was a perfect storm, certainly for us as taxpayers.
I understand.
Because at a time, she got elected at a time when Democrats were flexing their muscles in the county. You know, there was a time when there were no Democrats in those countywide offices, very few of them. But starting in 2018 is when Democrats started to flex their muscles. And then, of course, in 2022, every county office, including the DA, became Democrat, and she was a beneficiary.
And Republicans rolled over in that election when they had a chance to oust her through the elective process. They threw in a candidate who did not really want the job. I think there was a ripe opportunity there to unseat her,
Absolutely.
but they rolled over and played dead.
If Wanda would call me again, which I doubt she will after this show, and ask me what she should do, I would advise her, go ahead and resign. And because this is a no-win for her.
Yeah.
And don't jeopardize your pension. She's going to get a healthy pension. And take that pension, retire, and move to Jamaica because that's where she enjoys vacationing anyway, and put it all behind you and let's move ahead. But I don't think she's going to do that. I think, knowing Wanda Halbert, I think she's going to want to have her say in court, and it's just not going to inure to her benefit.
Well, it ought to speak volumes, and I know this firsthand being a county commissioner. It ought to speak volumes when she would take time off, the office would run effectively. And again, I'm telling you the truth. It would run effectively, tags would start flowing out the door, and then when Wanda would reappear, everything was in shambles again. It's a leadership issue. It's gone on for years, and it's got to cease.
Well, this is a row office, as we've discussed before. It's created by the state constitution, and it should not be an elected office. It should be an appointed office by the judges whose attorneys use that court. And this court clerk, she handles a tremendous amount of money. Where the appointment would come from, I don't know, but electing these folks is not often a good idea.
Here's what I don't understand, you guys. I expect Commissioner McWright, a Republican, to be highly critical of Wanda Halbert, and he has been. I don't understand the silence, the crickets on the Democratic side. And I know Republicans do this too, so right now I'm picking on Democrats. But it seems to me when you have a commissioner like Erica Sugarman, who last week said, oh, we're picking on her, we're not picking on the other clerks like this, that just looks bad. And it's being ignorant to what's really happening.
It goes to just what you said.
It absolutely goes to what I was saying. They are circling the wagons here for political reasons.
Why?
Well, I mean, just because
Well,
that's what they do.
I understand, but you've got somebody who's inept.
Absolutely.
This is not just
Take that on to a state level and a federal level. It happens everywhere.
But we did hear from Regina Newman Morrison, or Morrison Newman, who said, and she's a Democrat, and she said emphatically that there's total disarray there. There's total ineptitude. We can't trust these figures. We don't know what's going on. She's a Democrat.
She's the one who helps to lay out the budget and invest the money.
Absolutely.
And there's no money, I guess, to invest.
And she's exasperated by that. Yes, there should be more Democrats on the county commission, and we ought to call them out on the show right now, as you have done. let's call them out and say, come out and say what is right here, and say that Wanda Halbert needs to resign, as Susan said.
Well, let me tell you this, the spectacle is going to continue because let's say the judge suspends Wanda Halbert, and the rules say that if the judge suspends her, the deputy clerk is to step in. Guess what? The deputy clerk, Mr. Cash, Bill Cash, left the office several weeks ago because out of total frustration, he had done the work. I'd seen him do the work. Guess what? When the courts may rule that it's now time for the chief deputy, as of today in this filming, there is no chief deputy.
Wow.
So does the commission then have to appoint somebody? Or?
The commission is supposed to appoint someone in the interim, but before that interim, typically the chief deputy would step in. But that chief deputy has walked out in total frustration, and I understand why.
I think we all understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some issues where I understand partisanship plays a role, and there may be some nebulous interpretation of things, and so people give whoever it happens to be the benefit of the doubt. There's no benefit of the doubt here.
No, none whatsoever.
And why we continue to play that game, I don't understand.
And we have a majority Democrats on that county commission, and again, they need to be called out to say something for the benefit of the taxpayers here. That a change needs to happen in the county clerk's office.
All right, we'll leave it there. When we come back, we're going to talk about the city budget. Lots of hearings underway about how much to spend and how much to tax. We'll be right back.